From childhood cartoons to glossy magazine ads, the image of a tall glass of milk has always carried a promise: strong bones and healthy growth. For decades, slogans like "Milk does a body good" and "Got milk?" convinced parents and children alike that milk was the ultimate food for skeletal strength. The message was simple, easy to remember, and hard to question. But now, with more research available and with cultures around the world showing different patterns of bone health, people are asking a crucial question. Is milk really essential for strong bones? Or is this belief more myth than fact? To understand this debate, we first need to look at what bones are and how they grow. Bones are not dead, rigid structures as many people imagine. They are living tissues. They are constantly being broken down and rebuilt in a process called bone remodeling. Specialized cells called osteoclasts break down old bone, while osteoblasts lay down new bone tissue. This remodeling keeps bones strong and allows them to adapt to physical stress. For this cycle to function properly, the body needs a steady supply of nutrients, including calcium, protein, and vitamin D. Milk is praised mainly for its calcium content. Calcium is a mineral that provides bones with hardness and rigidity. Without enough calcium, bones can become weak and brittle, leading to conditions such as osteoporosis. During childhood and adolescence, when bones are growing rapidly, calcium intake is especially critical. Milk also provides protein, which helps build collagen, the flexible framework within bones where minerals are deposited. In many countries, milk is fortified with vitamin D, a nutrient that helps the body absorb calcium more effectively. Because of these nutrients, milk became a centerpiece in public health campaigns during the 20th century. In the early 1900s, rickets, a disease that softens bones, was common among children in industrial cities, especially where sunlight exposure was limited. Fortifying milk with vitamin D helped nearly eliminate rickets in those populations. This success story fueled the belief that milk was not just helpful, but essential for strong bones. However, the story didn't stop there. While milk certainly played a role in solving a major nutritional problem, the marketing around it simplified the message too much. The slogan shifted from "calcium and vitamin D are important" to "milk is the secret to bone strength." That leap, while catchy, overlooked other vital factors: exercise, other nutrients like magnesium and vitamin K, hormone levels, and genetics. It's worth noting that many populations around the world consume little or no cow's milk, yet they maintain strong bones. In much of Asia, traditional diets relied on tofu, soy products, vegetables, and small fish with edible bones as sources of calcium. In Africa, leafy greens, beans, and grains have supported bone health for centuries. These cultures often had lower rates of osteoporosis than Western nations where milk consumption was highest. This suggests that milk is not uniquely essential. It's one of many ways to meet calcium needs. Even more puzzling is the so-called calcium paradox. Countries with the highest milk consumption, such as the United States and Sweden, also report some of the highest fracture rates. How could this be? One explanation is longevity. In countries where people live longer, bones naturally weaken with age, leading to more fractures. Another explanation is lifestyle. Sedentary living, smoking, high-salt diets, and processed food intake all harm bones. If these negative influences outweigh the benefits of milk, then higher milk consumption may not lead to better outcomes. Large research studies back up this complexity. For example, a long-term Swedish study published in the British Medical Journal followed more than 100,000 men and women for decades. Surprisingly, the study found that higher milk consumption did not reduce fracture risk, and in women, very high intake was even associated with slightly higher risks. These findings challenge the long-held assumption that more milk automatically equals stronger bones. Does this mean milk is useless? Not at all. Milk still provides valuable nutrients, and for children and teenagers, it can be a convenient way to help reach daily calcium and protein needs. but the benefits appear most significant when the body is still building peak bone mass. After the late 20s, when bones stop gaining density and begin the gradual process of loss, milk alone cannot halt or reverse that trend. So, is the claim that milk makes bones strong fact or myth? The answer isn't simple. Milk supports bone health, but it does not guarantee it. Strong bones depend on a network of influences: diet, exercise, hormones, genetics, and lifestyle. Milk can be one part of that network, but it is not the sole foundation. If we zoom in on the biology of calcium, we see why milk became such a strong symbol of bone health. Calcium in the blood must be kept within a very narrow range because it's essential for nerve signaling, muscle contraction, and blood clotting. If calcium levels drop too low, the body reacts quickly by pulling calcium from bones to restore balance. Over time, if dietary calcium remains low, bones become weaker. This is why calcium is so important. But here's the key point. The body doesn't care whether calcium comes from milk, kale, or fortified soy milk. What matters is adequacy. Bioavailability matters too. The body does not absorb all the calcium it consumes. Spinach, for example, contains calcium, but much of it is bound to oxalates, making it less available. Milk provides calcium in a more absorbable form, which is one reason it has been promoted so heavily. But milk is not unique in this respect. Fortified soy milk, bok choy, kale, and tofu prepared with calcium salts also offer highly absorbable calcium. The broader message should not be, drink milk, but get enough available calcium from whatever source works for you. Protein is another key nutrient for bones. Collagen, the structural framework of bone, is made of protein. Without enough protein, bones may lose flexibility and become brittle. Milk delivers protein, which is an advantage, but again, it is not the only source. Meat, beans, fish, nuts, seeds, and legumes all provide protein for bone health. In fact, studies suggest that diets combining plant and animal proteins may support bone strength better than diets relying too heavily on one source. Hormones play a critical role as well. Estrogen in women and testosterone in men both help maintain bone density. When estrogen levels drop during menopause, bone loss accelerates rapidly. This is why postmenopausal women face higher risks of osteoporosis. No amount of milk can fully compensate for that hormonal change. Medical care, exercise, and balanced diets become even more important at that stage of life. Similarly, men with low testosterone levels may lose bone density despite consuming plenty of calcium. The influence of lifestyle cannot be ignored. Smoking, excessive alcohol use, high salt intake, and sedentary living all harm bones. These risk factors can undo the benefits of milk or calcium supplements. On the flip side, active living, walking, resistance training, dancing, or sports strengthens bones by applying stress that stimulates remodeling. Exercise, in fact, is one of the most powerful tools for bone strength, often more impactful than dietary calcium alone. The gut microbiome is another emerging piece of the puzzle. Healthy gut bacteria help the body absorb minerals and regulate inflammation. Diets rich in fiber, fermented foods, and prebiotics nurture this microbial community, indirectly supporting bone health. Milk plays only a small role in this system, reminding us again that no single food guarantees skeletal resilience. Cultural case studies make this point even clearer. In Mediterranean regions, where milk consumption is moderate, people often enjoy strong bone health thanks to diets rich in vegetables, olive oil, legumes, and fish. In Africa, traditional diets heavy in leafy greens, grains, and beans supply plenty of calcium without reliance on dairy. In Asia, soy products and small fish with edible bones provide the minerals needed. These global perspectives show that milk is one option among many, not the magic ingredient. So why has the myth endured? The answer lies in psychology and marketing. People like simple answers, and health campaigns prefer clear messages. "Drink milk for strong bones" is a powerful slogan, much easier to remember than "eat a variety of foods, exercise daily, get vitamin D, avoid smoking, and balance your hormones." The dairy industry amplified this simplicity with decades of advertising, making milk appear irreplaceable. But simplicity can be misleading, and in this case, it has created false confidence. In Part 1, we examined how milk gained its reputation as a bone-building food, why calcium matters, and how oversimplification turned useful science into a marketing myth. Now in Part 2, let's dig deeper into the evidence, the long-term studies, and the strategies people can use to protect their bones, whether or not they drink milk. To start, we need to revisit the concept of peak bone mass. As explained earlier, bones build density most rapidly during childhood and adolescence, reaching their maximum strength in the late 20s. After that, bone mass plateaus, then gradually declines with age. The higher your peak bone mass, the more protection you have against fractures later in life. This is why childhood and adolescence are such critical windows. Milk can certainly help during this time, but it is not unique. Any source of calcium, protein, and vitamin D will do. This perspective explains why studies in children often show benefits from milk, while studies in adults are less conclusive. For instance, research has demonstrated that children who consume milk or other calcium-rich foods tend to achieve slightly higher bone density. But in adults, especially those who already meet their calcium needs, adding more milk does not necessarily translate to fewer fractures. By adulthood, lifestyle and hormonal factors overshadow the influence of any single food. The Harvard Nurses' Health Study provides a clear example. Following tens of thousands of women over decades, researchers found that high milk consumption did not significantly reduce fracture risk. Similarly, a large Swedish study involving more than 100,000 participants reported that women who drank more milk did not have lower fracture rates. In fact, those with very high milk intake sometimes showed slightly higher risks, possibly linked to excess galactose, a sugar in lactose that may contribute to inflammation and oxidative stress. This doesn't mean milk is dangerous. It simply highlights that more is not always better. Calcium, protein, and vitamin D are important, but they work within a larger system. Without exercise, vitamin K, magnesium, and hormonal balance, bones will not remain strong regardless of milk intake. Exercise, in particular, plays a central role. Weight-bearing and resistance activities put stress on bones, stimulating them to remodel and grow denser. This is why athletes, dancers, and individuals who stay physically active tend to have stronger bones than sedentary people, regardless of dairy intake. Even simple habits, walking, climbing stairs, lifting light weights, contribute significantly. Milk may supply raw materials, but exercise tells the body how to use them. Vitamin D is another crucial factor. Without it, calcium absorption drops dramatically. Fortified milk can help address this gap, but so can sunlight exposure, fatty fish, and supplements. In northern climates with long winters, relying solely on milk is insufficient. This is why vitamin D deficiency remains common even in high dairy countries. Hormonal changes add yet another layer. Estrogen protects bone density in women, and its decline after menopause leads to rapid bone loss. This explains why women are disproportionately affected by osteoporosis. Milk cannot replace estrogen. For men, testosterone supports bone health, and low levels can weaken bones despite good nutrition. These realities show why comprehensive strategies, not just diet, are essential. Global comparisons further dismantle the myth. Populations in Asia, Africa, and the Mediterranean have historically consumed little dairy, yet maintained good bone health through diverse diets and active lifestyles. Soy, legumes, greens, fish, nuts, and fortified alternatives have proven just as effective. What matters is adequacy, not adherence to one food. If milk is not the miracle drink we once believed, then what truly matters for lifelong bone health? To answer this, let's connect the scientific findings to practical strategies that anyone can apply, whether they drink milk or not. First, nutrition. Calcium remains vital, but it is only part of the picture. Think of bone health as a team sport. Calcium may be the star player, but without support from other nutrients, the team loses. Vitamin D ensures calcium is absorbed. Vitamin K directs calcium into bones instead of arteries. Magnesium activates vitamin D and plays a role in bone formation. Protein provides the collagen framework that makes bones flexible and resilient. Potassium helps buffer acids in the diet that might otherwise leach calcium from bones. This means that people can absolutely build strong bones without drinking milk. A person who eats kale, bok choy, fortified plant milks, tofu, almonds, chia seeds, and small fish with edible bones will meet their calcium needs. Add in sunlight or vitamin D supplements, magnesium-rich foods like nuts and whole grains, and plenty of protein, and the skeleton is well supported. Milk can help, but it is optional, not essential. Second, exercise is indispensable. Weight-bearing and resistance exercises are the most powerful non-nutritional factors for bone health. Activities like walking, jogging, dancing, stair climbing, and weight training create stress on bones, signaling them to remodel and grow denser. This mechanical stress cannot be replaced by diet. In fact, exercise and nutrition work in partnership. Calcium and protein provide the building blocks, but exercise tells the body to put them to use. Even balance-focused exercises like Tai Chi and yoga help by reducing fall risk, which is equally important for preventing fractures. Third, lifestyle habits matter enormously. Smoking, heavy alcohol use, and high-salt diets all increase bone loss. Sedentary behavior weakens both muscles and bones. Conversely, active living, moderate alcohol, and a diet rich in whole foods build resilience. These choices may sound ordinary, but over decades, they make the difference between fragile bones and lasting strength. Fourth, hormonal health is crucial. Women face the steepest bone challenges after menopause, when estrogen drops sharply. No amount of milk can replace this protection. Medical care, including hormone replacement therapy or bone-specific medications, may be needed. Men with low testosterone also face risks. This reality underscores that bone health is not about one food. It's about understanding the body's natural changes and addressing them with the right strategies. Finally, psychology and culture influence how we think about health. For decades, people were told that milk was irreplaceable. This created fear among those who couldn't drink it due to lactose intolerance or personal choice. But the truth is liberating. Strong bones are possible for everyone, regardless of whether they drink milk. Removing the myth allows people to focus on what really works: varied nutrition, exercise, healthy habits, and medical care when needed. So, is the claim "milk makes bones strong" myth or fact? The verdict is nuanced. It is fact in the sense that milk provides useful nutrients, especially for children and adolescents building peak bone mass. But it is myth to say milk alone guarantees lifelong skeletal strength. The evidence shows that bone health depends on a network of factors, not a single beverage. Milk is a tool, not a cure. The takeaway is clear. Enjoy milk if you like it, avoid it if you don't, but don't mistake it for a miracle. Strong bones are built through balance, variety, and consistency across a lifetime. That's the truth. Busted, not trusted.